Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have another video for you guys from Kage, and this is an interesting one. This is one where I actually never really thought about before, actually pitting Nagato versus Tobirama. This one actually should be interesting because like I said, I honestly never thought about putting these two in a fight and wondering who would actually come out on top. So you know what, let's just jump into the video, but before we do, I want to ask you, between these two, who do you think would win? Okay, and also remember, let's say it's prime Nagato, as in young, not the skeleton version with the Rinnegan, versus alive prime Tobirama. Between these two, who do you think would win? Okay, let's jump into the video.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Also, just real quick, if you can hear something outside, someone's doing some work, so that's probably what you're listening to.
Kage here, and welcome to today's video. With me, I don't have Clyde or Seth. I have somebody else who I've never recorded a video with. This is my buddy Scotty. He doesn't upload a whole bunch of shit on his channel. I actually think he has like one video, and it's a little Naruto meme. His Twitter is at ScottyUwu, so go follow him. You know, if you like dank memes, I guess. XD. But yeah, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Naruto versus battles, debates, all that. So no need to worry. The video is still going to be up to snuff. Yeah, we're talking about Tobirama versus Nagato. I don't really know how to segue into any of this. So what do you think? Who do you think would win?
Well, if it's against Nagato and Tobirama, we're talking about, well, the literal second Hokage who invented a bunch of jutsu, the most proficient water style user, against, well, the most experienced Rinnegan user.
Yeah, who also has all 5 nature transformation.
Well, the most experienced Rinnegan user at the time. I do still think, because remember, Kishimoto himself did say that by the time he was an adult, Sasuke had pretty much mastered the abilities of the Rinnegan. Just kind of wish we could have seen it, but yeah, I just wanted to say that.
And
Oh yeah.
well, it's never stated in the manga, but apparently, like, it's implied somewhere. I've heard people mention this before, that Nagato created the tags that Team Guy ran into, that like created the doppelgangers of them. And like, if that's the case, he kind of stomps fucking anybody. But I will
use them.
Yeah, I won't bring those up in this debate. I mean, pretty much the only thing we see Nagato using is like wind style Gale Palm, and then all his Rinnegan abilities. That's really about it. So
that's really disappointing though, because I would have liked to see Nagato use like more jutsu. He's definitely capable of it, and it would have made him like easily top 3 tier characters.
Yeah,
absolutely. But like, the thing is,
this is honestly, if you think about it, kind of a recurring thing in the Naruto universe. Is like, you know that certain characters can do things, but you always wish that you could have seen them actually do these things. And it's like, for example, like Naruto by the end of the series has chakra from all of the 9 Biju, and that chakra does give him access to different abilities, and it is kind of a shame that we rarely ever see him use it. Now, it does make sense if you think about it, because in what situation during that time would he have really needed to use them? But I don't know. It's just, see, this is one thing that did kind of disappoint me about the Jigen Nishiki fight, is that because they were both characters who acted as kind of a hard counter to a lot of their most powerful abilities, that because of that we could never really see them use it. So that was always kind of disappointing. I mean, in the manga, it was one thing, but when the anime showed up, I was kind of hoping that maybe the anime would add scenes in there. They did, by the way. They actually did. I'm not forgetting. They did. But I guess you could say I just, considering Naruto was always built up as someone who always has this very, very unorthodox way of fighting, that it trips up even some of the most experienced fighters. And of course, Sasuke was mentioned as being someone who is incredibly analytical and can come up with plans on the spot. Someone who can take all of the knowledge that he has and come up with a great counter against whoever he's fighting against. It did always kind of disappoint me that we never got to see them utilize their different abilities. I don't know, that's just me. Maybe you guys feel differently.
like we mentioned earlier, he's easily the most experienced Rinnegan user, and like this
the
is
time.
shown pretty well to the audience because like Madara and Obito, well, Obito doesn't use like any Rinnegan abilities, though
No.
it's stated that he can. Madara uses a couple, but he doesn't use like the Asura path or even the animal path or any of that, whereas Nagato takes full advantage of his eyes. You know, he just fondled Naruto and B at the same time, because you know, he had Naruto, he was about to rip his soul out, then B came in to save Naruto, and Nagato used the Asura path to sprout out extra
like,
arms. Yeah, he just choke held B right in the air and about did the exact same shit to him. It was pretty terrible. Like, he got movement in his legs back by like absorbing version 2 cloak chakra. It was so ridiculous. If not for the fact that Itachi used Koto Matsukami on himself, like Naruto and B would have got fucking eradicated.
Like, the war would have just been lost immediately.
Oh yeah, the war would have been over.
That was the first opponent. That was the first set of opponents that they went up against too. And like, they spent so long convincing Tsunade and the Raikage to go out there, and then immediately they fight Nagato and Itachi.
Yeah, they're like hyping themselves up. Naruto like speed glitches the Raikage. Like,
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, okay, that's actually pretty funny because think about it. Like, you're all excited to join in the war, and you finally get there, and literally the first opponents you fight against are Itachi, freaking Uchiha, and Nagato with the fucking Rinnegan. I mean, that's just, it almost feels like there's someone up there that's basically giving you the middle finger. All right, let's move forward.
I've got this. Don't worry about it. They go out there and immediately just get fucked by Nagato. Like,
Yeah.
it's good to mention though that like Jin Shuriki are stronger than the tailed beasts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
once the tailed beast is inside them,
Yeah.
and that's literally the 8 tails.
Right. Yeah.
Nagato is easily stronger than the literal 8 tails and half of the 9
Well, B
tails.
didn't go full 8 tails mode, so
Well,
you know,
yeah.
you could make a debate
It's-
about that, and
yeah,
Naruto
it's
wasn't using
debatable. I
his
would say it's
QB
debatable.
avatar, but I think that QB mode, like KCM2 full Kurama avatar Naruto, is way stronger than the base half of the 9 tails he has inside of him. And I feel like version 2B would put up a decent fight against the 8 tails. I don't know if he's stronger than him, but that's not relevant because the gap between his power and B's power was fucking enormous, all right? Like, he just stopped him dead in his tracks. So, you know, Nagato has, I mean, he just pulled off a whole bunch of ludicrous nonsense shit in the fight against Itachi,
that.
Naruto,
It's
and B.
insane.
Whereas with Tobirama, well, we actually don't have a whole lot of feats for either of these characters, but Tobirama in particular, it's not really, like, clarified what he's capable of using. He did make a whole lot of different jutsu, but I know he's invented more than the jutsu that the audience has seen him use. And or like the
It
jutsu
does
that
kinda
you
suck
know,
that
it's
we never
stated
saw
that he
him
created. But the
really
ones who
fight
know
all
he
that
has, like
much.
the big 3 that
You
he
know, we,
created were shadow clones.
We saw Hashirama's accomplishments. I mean, those kind of speak for themselves. We saw Hiruzen. We saw Minato, of course. And then Tobirama, we didn't really see much of him. We saw a little bit of him in the war between the Senju and the Uchiha. We saw a little bit during the war arc, but not by much. Yeah, it does kind of suck because they do talk about him as being this incredibly powerful shinobi. And of course, one thing, probably the most impressive statement by anyone about the second Hokage is that he's the only one who could create water out of nothing. Like, he could create entire oceans with just his chakra alone. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. Just like how Hashirama could created the forest that surrounds the Leaf Village. And I do kind of wish that we could have seen that during the war, because that would have been the perfect moment.
Flying Thunder God and Edo Tensei. And now Edo Tensei is not really much of a factor in this battle because
he sucked at it. Kind
yeah,
of.
well, it wasn't that he
Everyone else
sucked
who
at it.
used it was better.
It wasn't that he
Basically.
sucked at it. It was just that it wasn't refined. Orochimaru took the base,
Yeah.
built upon that, and then Kabuto
And then
built upon it even
Kabuto
more.
Saw that and was like, you know what, this needs to be even better. Like,
Yeah, and he made the
Kabuto
most
did insane
broken
shit, like-
jutsu ever.
Yeah.
So, you know, Edo Tensei is not really a factor, but Tobirama has all of his water release jutsu and all that. And I guess his
Yeah.
elemental stuff isn't really going to matter against Nagato because
you can just
it's-
absorb it like immediately.
well, it's not just that he can absorb it, but he can also counter it with any of his Earth-style jutsu. Because it is stated that Nagato not only learned how to use each of the nature transformations, he mastered all 5 of
age
them.
10.
Yeah.
Like at age 10, so he's had years of mastery over them too.
Exactly.
that's a lot of experience.
The thing is, he crippled himself, and so he didn't use many of these jutsu at all. He just used all of the Rinnegan powers through the 6 paths of pain, and you know, because he didn't have a mobile body, so he might not be as good at using those nature transformation jutsu. But still, it's worth pointing out that he has those. But anyway, so basically the thing that it's going to come down. But by the way, I don't think we clarified this earlier, but it's alive Nagato versus alive Tobirama.
Yeah.
And
So it is alive Nagato versus alive Nagato. Oh, excuse me, Tobirama.
Edo would be very strange. I think Nagato ended up sealing Tobirama in an Edo Tensei, though. I mean, not an Edo Tensei, a Chibaku Tensei. I'm retarded. No, so what Tobirama has to deal with is Chibaku Tensei, Chaotic Shinra Tensei, the Asura Path, Bansho Tensei. Like, he has to deal with all of these really high-level jutsu, and granted, he does have a whole bunch, like, Flying Thunder God Slash was able to take out Izuna, who was supposedly around Madara level, and this is a much weaker Madara, right?
Yeah,
like this is like
Madara during Warring States.
Yeah, that's
it
like
wasn't
at
Madara's
best
strongest.
half the strength of War Arc Madara. So you know, I guess the strength there isn't really relevant. It's the fact that Tobirama could FTG to Nagato and then just cut right through him with a sword. But like, I feel like he would be able to Shinra Tensei that because he was going toe-to-toe with KCM Naruto.
Wouldn't he kind of be able to see that happening? I don't know. You know what? I'll throw this question to you guys. Do you think that Tobirama would be able to catch him with Flying Thunder God Strike, or do you think Nagato would be able to sense it in time and just use Shinra Tensei to block the attack? I'll throw the question to you guys.
Who was stated to have equaled Minato in speed and outsped the 4th Raikage, like the fastest shinobi alive next to Minato. So like
We're going to be watching a video about Minato, by the way, soon, because I feel like a lot of people sleep on Minato and what he could actually do, which again is insane, because just look at the War Arc and all the things he did there. They speak for themselves.
Tobirama's fast because he can teleport, but outside of teleportation, he doesn't have very high combat speed. Like, I'm not gonna say he's not fast. You know, he can't move his arms more quickly than a regular like Jonin level fighter or a Chunin level fighter or whatever. But he's not like Minato, like Raikage, KCM. Yeah, exactly. He's not that fast. So Nagato would be able to, you know, Shinra Tensei him away, or even worse, like if he tries to catch him from the side, he just grabs him with the Asura Path. I also don't think Tobirama has any knowledge of the Rinnegan, because he wasn't alive anywhere near long enough to see any of that shit. So it's like
he learned about it when he got reanimated and saw people using its ability. So
exactly. Like he wouldn't be. I guess if they went in with knowledge, it'd be different, and he would probably try and figure out what he could and couldn't do. Yeah,
like,
but
if he's invented so many jutsu, he's got to be smart enough to counter the Rinnegan with some sort of strategy.
But if he goes in with no knowledge, Nagato probably fondles him.
That's true.
There's nothing like he can do effectively.
Usually we've seen in this series that
and like trying to phase Nagato out, and then he like
when you go into a fight with a really effective strategy that revolves around the knowledge that you've gained over your opponent and their abilities, it's shown that it can give you the edge. We've seen it multiple times. Oh, sorry about that, guys. All right,
teleports behind him or some shit. Could universal pull him, grab him, and then just extract his soul. Like
exactly. He could use the paper bombs that spawn more paper bombs, mutually multiplying exploding tags. But like I don't.
Shinra Tensei.
Yeah, Shinra Tensei. That's all that is. The best strategy that he has, I think, is the ability to use a bunch of shadow clones and then have them FTG spam. But, I mean, I don't know how effective that would be, because he needs to be able to take Nagato out in CQC. I don't think he has any large-scale enough ranged jutsu that would be able to bypass Shinra Tensei, and even if they could, Nagato could just absorb them. So, like, this is really tough. Like, he has to get close, and, it's like the only reason to Lost was because he was sealed at a range by the Totsuka Blade.
Which is, like, the most OP attack that, like, you can hit someone with.
Exactly. You can't, I don't think you can absorb Totsuka Blade either. It's a bit weird.
Think it's possible.
Like ethereal. So
I mean, unless, no, sorry.
The Bringer of Darkness technique, that Infinite Darkness Genjutsu.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe that was
Rinnegan.
anime only. And anyway, Nagato can sense people's chakra, and the Rinnegan can see chakra, so it wouldn't really matter much. But I guess, yeah, it's a pretty simple conversation. Leave you guys' thoughts about it in the comments below. Maybe I don't know shit about Tobirama. Maybe Scotty doesn't either. There's really not much to explore with what he's capable of. And with Tobirama, a lot of the time, people are on, like, one side of a fence. It's like either they think Tobirama's Jesus, and he's like nigh Hashirama level, and there's no one who can fucking beat him. And then there's people who are just like, he's probably like the weakest Hokage. And I'm like, I think he's stronger than Hiruzen, but that's really about it.
You wouldn't know though unless you got like more, screen time. There's not enough time.
Right.
I mean, probably the one thing that I think could tell you about Tobirama's strength is that the moment inside the what was it called? The Uchiha, in front of the Uchiha stone tablet, when you had that moment where Hashirama was just, excuse me, not Hashirama, but when Tobirama was kind of flexing, I guess you could say, and you had Sasuke just being desperately trying to stop himself from being blown back by just the force. And this was EMS Sasuke, who was shown later on in the war to be able to keep up with KCM2 Naruto. So, and that was Edo Tobirama, which Edo Tenseis have been proven to be, or is stated by the Lord to be, weaker than the alive versions of the characters. So if that's the case, that should tell you kind of how strong Tobirama is. Now, Nagato, I don't know if he would do well against KCM2 Naruto. I mean, KCM1 Naruto couldn't do anything. We saw it in the in the fight that they went over, where it was him and B against Nagato, and Nagato just fondled both of them. And that was Nagato being controlled by someone else. Imagine if he was in full control of his actions. I mean, it's insane. And again, that was an Edo Nagato, not as powerful as Nagato was when he was alive. So that does beg the question: alive Nagato versus alive Tobirama, who would win? Because they are pretty damn insane.
Right, exactly.
To actually view what he's capable of. There's no feats. Really, the most we know is he died to like a squad of Jonin to protect like.
It was like 20 S rank ninja or something crazy though. So.
Yeah, like people would like to downplay Tobirama for that.
Yeah.
But
no.
That's 20 S rank ninja.
And the Kinkaku and the Kinkaku force might have been composed of a bunch of shinobi, including Kinkaku and Ginkaku, who were supposed to be absurdly powerful. So there's a chance of that. Like they ate their way out of the Nine Tails.
They literally had Nine Tails chakra because they ate their way out of it. Like they bit the Nine Tails from the inside. So Tobirama isn't exactly weak.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot different if Tobirama had maybe taken the time to learn Sage Mode.
Right, yeah. But he was like, nah, fuck that.
Like my brother
I never understood.
It's like invent a million jutsu.
You know the advantages of Sage Mode. Why would you turn your back?
But like I said, leave you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Check out Scotty on Twitter, I guess. Go like the one video he's uploaded. And yeah, till my next video. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Okay, so I think that's the end of the video. Yeah, okay, so that is the end of the video. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know who I would give this fight to. Both of them are pretty damn powerful. And one thing that they did mention is that Tobirama, we unfortunately don't have that much to go off of when it comes to his ability. We can make some guesses, but we rarely have any scenes of him outright showing just what he could do. The only things, like I said, that I could imagine would do a good job of helping you scale Tobirama is that moment that I mentioned in front of the Uchiha Stone tablet, where we had EMS Sasuke basically sweating by Tobirama just exerting a little bit of chakra. I don't even think that was what he could fully do. And that was still Edo Tobirama, who even he stated we're only close to our original power. So that wasn't even him at his strongest at all. Excuse me. So it does beg the question, how powerful was Tobirama when he was alive? Because EMS Sasuke, we saw, went to the war and was keeping up with KCM2 Naruto. So yeah, you know what? I'll throw the question to you guys. What do you think? Who would win, a live Tobirama or a live Nagato? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to do all the YouTube things, like, share, subscribe, not just for my video, but also to Swag's video, and go subscribe to his channel to show him some support. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Bye for now.